Jesus loved these people. He loved this man that was sick and these sisters. And there's an interesting word play here. Because Martha had said in the previous verse, right in verse 3, Martha had said in verse 3, the one whom you love. Lazarus, the one whom you love. Those were Martha's words. And then when we get to verse 5, we have this commentary, if you will. Jesus loved not just Lazarus, but Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. And this is not the same word for love. There's a little thing going on there, right? Because in verse 3, when Martha is talking, Martha uses bro love. The city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Martha says, this is the guy, this is your bro, this is your brother that you're bonded with. I mean, if his truck is trouble, you're coming over with the tools he needs. If he needs an excuse to get out of the house, you've got an excuse for him. This is the guy that you talk to when complaining about your wife, though you're completely wrong because your wife is perfect. Brotherly love, a bromance, as it were. This is your guy. That's what Martha is saying in verse 3. In verse 5, it gets upped. Because you can make yourself have a philia, a brotherly love for somebody. But in verse 5, the verb changes. The word is different. It's agape love. And agape love is radically different than philia love. Philia love is friendship love. Agape love is divine. You cannot make yourself agape love. You can't make yourself agape love. Agape love is who God is. God is agape love, according to 1 John. He takes that agape love and he gives it to us in the fruit of the Spirit. For the fruit of the Spirit is agape love, and then all the other stuff. And then he commands us, now that he is divine love and he gives us divine love, we are supposed to divinely love God back and then love the people around us. Agape love. So it's divine. It's powerful. It's different. It means being selfless, being sacrificial, bleeding for the other guy, taking the bullet that wasn't meant for you, accepting the blame when you're actually innocent. It's the motivation behind everything God does. That's why in 1 John it says God is agape, divine love. It's because that's why the Father sent the Son. John 3:16, which seems to me to be a memory verse from like 5 years ago. For God so loved the world that for God so, that's not bro romance. For God so divinely loved, selflessly and sacrificially loved, so that the holy, innocent, pure Jesus, Son of God, came to dwell among us, and we are stinky, nasty, filthy, and horrible. He went from a garden of paradise to walking through the dump, living among the sewer lagoon, which is humanity and our sinfulness and our wickedness. That's what motivates everything God does. And that gives me a great deal of comfort. But it also raises the bar. We make jokes. Scripture says, I'm supposed to love you, but that doesn't mean I have to like you. And that's the stupidest joke I've ever heard. I've repeated it in the right situation, mostly for a cheap laugh. Thank you. But we're supposed to selflessly and sacrificially love God and others. And we don't like those words, selfless and sacrificial. But we're supposed to be doing it. We're supposed to be putting other people's needs above our own in all that we do. Other people first. That is countercultural. Why should I at work talk to my boss about how good this employee is doing when I could be talking about how good and valuable I am? Why would I take from my bare resources and give to somebody who has a need because I may need that later? Putting others' needs above our own. Offering acts of service without expecting anything in return. This is not a quid pro quo. I do this for you, and I'm keeping track of how many things I've done for you. And when I need you, you come and help me. It's much more like you've helped your 15 friends move, and they've got like heavy stuff, and none of the other friends showed up, and they thought that the greatest compensation for you helping them move was pizza. And you've helped your 15 friends move, and when it's your turn to move, you send out the call and no one comes, right? We're supposed to be doing acts of service for the sake of helping others, not expecting the return. We're supposed to be willing to love the unlovable. We're supposed to be able to love those who hate us back for it. We're supposed to love even when it costs us. Jesus is our ultimate example of that. Yes, 1,000-fold. He's our perfect example of that, Jesus. I know a guy named Robertson McQuilkin. Robertson McQuilkin is an author. I've got his books in my office. He was president of a university in South Carolina. He had been president of Columbia International University and Columbia Biblical Seminary, where I went to school. He had been president for 20 years. President of a university. You spend your entire life trying to get the job of presidency because it doesn't require a whole lot and they overpay you. I don't know what a president does. I don't know what the president does. Robertson McQuilkin, great guy. I heard him speak at chapel. I had lunch with him and 50 other people. He doesn't know who I am. Robertson McQuilkin's wife, Muriel, had late stages Alzheimer's. Home care, institutionalization, all kinds of options. Robertson McQuilkin resigned his job to take care of his wife full time because that's what she needed. Everything we think we want and need, position, pay increase, prestige, purpose, he had. He was at the top of his career field, and he said, "My wife needs me. I resign. If I have to end up living in a cardboard box to take care of her needs, God will provide." He selflessly and sacrificially gave it all up. He ended up taking care of her daily needs for 13 years until she passed away. He was an academic, but he really was a hero of the faith who put the love of God and the love of others into practice because he gave up everything. And my friends, when I was in his presence when he prayed. And you believe me when I say I stayed silent and I kept my eyes closed and my head bowed because I was pretty sure that he was going, "Hey, Jesus, Abba, Father, while we're hanging out, I've got these 12 things going on around the world. Could you like step in? And I just knew that if I opened my eyes, I would see like angel feet, He did it. He was selfless and sacrificial. He loved his wife. And he gave me the best example there is. How beautiful is that? Jesus is our perfect one, but thank you, Robertson McQuilkin, for stepping up and providing a positive example. He has since gone to be with the Lord. He had articles and obituaries written in Christianity Today. It's all over. You can Google his name. Robertson McQuilkin, great guy. Jesus loved Martha, sister, and Lazarus. And we need to love like Jesus, my friends.